MCAT 2017 cram, Critical Analysis and Reasoning Skills, Flashcard Set 16.3, Antenatal Depression and Anxiety in Pakistan. As you view the reading of this passage, you'll notice some highlighted snippets of text. What I want you to do is garner meaning from these specific selections in order to answer the two reasoning within the text questions that follow. The questions really aren't that bad, and neither is the passage, so good luck and happy reading.
An interesting finding in our study of antenatal depression and anxiety among women in Pakistan was the correlation between the occupation of pregnant women and antenatal depression and anxiety. In contrast to studies in Western populations, which mention employment as a strong protective factor against major depression in pregnancy, our study found that pregnant women employed outside the home were actually more depressed and anxious than pregnant housewives. A study in Karachi, Pakistan, apparently contradicts our findings by concluding that housewives in general are more depressed than working women. Several factors might explain this contradiction. Most studies with such findings mention education as an important protective factor against antenatal anxiety and depression. Therefore, the lower educational level of housewives compared to working women was associated with higher levels of anxiety and depression. However, our study included respondents from low and lower middle socioeconomic classes, and 54% of the women in our sample were educated to less than the 10th grade level. So even most of the working women may not have been educated highly enough for their employment status to have a positive effect on their mental health. Paragraph 2. Secondly, in recent years, inflation has increased and socioeconomic conditions have deteriorated in Pakistan, and these changes have led to increased stress and the pressures on working women to meet the economic needs of their households. The increased stress, combined with the demands of pregnancy, might be responsible for greater depression and anxiety in working women compared to housewives who are relatively protected from work stress. Paragraph 3. Finally, another factor might also be operative in the social environment of Pakistan. In many Orthodox Pakistani families, most of which belong to lower and lower middle social classes, working women are highly stigmatized. In this socioeconomic setting, the home is considered the appropriate place for women, and being an obedient wife and loving mother are considered their appropriate roles. Negative attitudes among relatives toward their work might contribute to depression and anxiety among working pregnant women from lower and lower middle social classes who participated in our study. Housewives, in contrast, may have been protected from such discrimination. Paragraph 4. A novel and important finding in our study is the relationship between the gender of previous children and the level of antenatal depression and anxiety. Having daughters was significantly associated with antenatal depression and anxiety, whereas having sons was a protective factor. In Pakistan, the family system is predominantly patriarchal. Patriarchal mean a characteristic of a society or government controlled by men. Women are treated as second-class citizens and denied certain social rights. Among the consequences of the social structure are honor killings. Whoa, it's crazy. The bride price and dowry. The disputed status of female testimony. Wow. Forced marriages. Ugh. And denial of women's rights to have a career. Parents view their sons as bread earners and agents of continuation of the family name, and view their daughters as an economic burden. This is partly due to the tradition of providing a large dowry when a daughter marries, especially in India and Pakistan. The dowry may be in the form of land, money, jewelry, or household items. Even after birth, sons are given preference over daughters with respect to access to healthcare and educational opportunities. Considering these societal pressures, pregnant women who have already given birth to one or more daughters are not only concerned about their future offspring's gender, but are also subject to harassment, taunting, and stigmatization by their family and relatives. Okay, that's it.
The main function of the statement, pregnant women who have already given birth to one or more daughters are not only concerned about their future offspring's gender, but are also subject to harassment, by their family, is to A. Clarify the patrilineal context in which the women in Pakistan live. B. Justify the strong preference women show for having boys instead of girls. Or C. Show the multiple ways that the patriarchal system creates stress on pregnant mothers who had girls. So this is a close one. So definitely press pause if you need to, and I'll give you a moment to think. If you're having difficulty answering, open up a second window to view the reading of the passage and search for the text support to select the correct answer choice. All right. Okay, so for this reasoning within the text question, you have to think about the claims the author does or does not make to support his or her reasoning. Okay, so the statement comes from the last sentence in the passage. The main thing the author is trying to explain in the second paragraph is the quote, novel and important finding that women in Pakistan who have previously had female children have a stronger chance of becoming depressed and anxious during their pregnancy. The author describes the hardship that women and young girls face in Pakistani society, in order to offer some insight, into how things are there. Thus, the author's main function for the sentence is not merely to emphasize the general idea that there's gender discrimination, which is expressed here in this answer choice, but the author really wants to show the multiple ways in which the patriarchal system creates stress on pregnant mothers who have girls. Okay, so with that said, let's see what else. But yeah, these are not wrong, but this answer choice is more inclusive. That's why it's the correct answer choice. So saying, they're living in a male-dominated society with things like this, it's just not enough, okay? All right, and so as I said before, the main purpose is to conclude the various ways in which women are treated differently, and this serves as an additional source of stress, okay? The sentence structure here is not only X, but Y. This is like a logic structure, okay? And it signals that the point is to delineate multiple possibilities, okay? So yeah, you would have to check out the sentence structure in order to choose this answer choice. All right. Okay. In the passage, which of the following facts does the author not use to support their explanation for the increased incidence of antenatal depression and anxiety in women who have previously had girls? Is it A, females are perceived to have less credibility? Is it B, daughters do not carry the family name? Is it C, girls are often denied the right to work? Or is it D, economic inflation increases stress on working women? Definitely press pause if you need to, and I'll give you a moment to think. If you're having difficulty selecting the correct answer choice, open up a second window to view the reading of the passage and search for the text support to select the correct answer. All right. So again, here you're being asked to think about what claims the author does or does not use to support his or her reasoning. Okay. So since girls face greater hardship in Pakistan than boys do, the author argues that women who have had girls may experience depression during their pregnancy, perhaps in anticipation of having yet another baby girl. Okay. The author provides all of the following examples of girls experiencing hardships. Girls' testimony is not taken as seriously as boys, expressed here in answer choice A. Boys perpetuating the family name, expressed in answer choice B. And boys are seen as the breadwinners, while girls are usually denied the right to work, okay? While the passage mentions economic inflation generally increasing stress on working mothers, this is not offered as a part of the explanation of the effect of previously having girls on antenatal depression. This is from another portion of the passage, so this doesn't fit in here in this specific context. So the correct answer choice is economic inflation increasing stress on working women. All right. Okay.